evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to your favorite show, the one show that lights up your Wednesday night. I keep saying that because it's the truth. This is Men, and we're here at the Nauru Skies Hotel talking about the influence of fathers on their daughters' lives. Now, there has been a lot of chit-chatter, especially in our neighboring country, that is Kenya, about the influence parents have on daughters, because there are some girls who are going out there and trying to make a living and getting caught up in the barbed wire of life. And in that case, they've been losing their lives. So, if you're a parent, maybe it's your fault, maybe it's not. But right now, we're enjoying the fully air-conditioned, free air-conditioned Nauru Skies Hotel. Most beautiful view in Kampala. If you look behind me, you can literally see the city. And it's a city of lights. No, you can't.
He actually looked.
Well, some people say you can even see the new Nile Bridge. I highly doubt that. But let's dive into it. Momo.
Yes.
Good to have you here.
Thank you.
You're the only girl here. Okay.
I'm surprised, but also excited because it means now I have the full spotlight on me.
Identifying as a girl tonight.
Yes.
Oh no!
So don't call me Pfizer, call me what? Jennifer.
We'll call you Fofo.
Call me Musisi.
We shall call you Fofo.
Well,
Anyway, we've always heard about the term like daddy little girl.
Yeah.
We've heard about girls who have daddy issues. So generally, is a father an important influence on a girl?
very much so, and I'm sure everyone on this panel can agree that a father. Well, I'm assuming everyone is a father, except Faizo. I have my doubts when it comes to Faizo here. Well, I have no daggers to throw at fathers today, except very good pointers and lots of things for which we can appreciate them, but most of all, relate with as major roles of a father in a girl's life. I like the topic precisely because it is broad. We are talking about a daughter, and a daughter in this case ranges from just a newborn child to a fully grown woman like myself to maybe say my mother. They are all daughters, you know. So the role of a father in the life of their daughter is very broad. Oftentimes, no, it is the reality actually, that a daughter grows.
Yeah.
A girl is born, a baby girl is born, then they grow into a teenager, then they grow into a woman, and then they are mothers themselves, but they remain daughters because they have been birthed, right? So the role of a father in this case becomes very broad, very, very broad. From the time the child is conceived, the time the child is born, to when you bury them, God forbid. But that's the reality of life anyway. So my first and most important role, in my opinion, for a father in a daughter's life is to emulate or represent a healthy marriage life. Because many a times, girls look up to their fathers. Before we even come to appreciate any other human being, we appreciate our own parents. So if you're looking at your father and they are a positive role model, they are doing admirable things, they are teaching you the challenges of life, they're holding your hand, picking you up when you fall, showing you right from wrong, that is the very first point of us falling in love. So if your father is a stand-up figure, chances are you're going to grow up and appreciate the opposite sex even better. But if they are the exact opposite, then you grow up and you have all these walls around you because you know that men are a no-go zone, you know. He's going to beat you up if he batters his wife, if he's constantly ignoring the child. Then you're going to shy away from men. Your relationship with men is going to be affected because you do not have that closure with your father. It is very important how a man relates with his daughter because almost everything you do is being watched very closely, and girls pay very close attention to detail. We're talking about women here. We're talking about daughters. So, yeah. And then the other role would be to offer emotional support. And this is very important because if you study the kind of daughters who end up in relationships we call the sugar daddy syndrome. These are people who have not had a very close relationship with their fathers.
So they have daddy.
So if there has been that gap, yes, they have daddy issues. The only reason a girl is attracted to an older man is because there is a certain reflection of their father to that person. You know, if you interact with most girls who tell you, me, I cannot date a young man. Me, my kind of man is tall, probably has a pot belly, or he has money and looks like this. If you pay very close attention, oftentimes that description is not far from who their father really looks like and how they relate to that man. I am being very serious here.
No. I just
Yes.
thought of something.
Yes.
Daddy issues.
The fact that, you know,
So, if you're going to save your child from, first of all, teenage relationships, yeah, such that they will probably end up as teenage mothers or child mothers, you're going to have to bridge the gap. Do not close the child out.
Before you continue, I want you to pull the younger
Generation.
guys in. Yeah.
why didn't you first skyrocket up those
The
ends,
young generation.
then go
yes.
down?
I'll tell you why. She has just mentioned something very, very interesting. That a lot of girls who have daddy issues are, they are a product of their upbringing. And they don't want to date younger guys because they see you guys are not daddy material. So does it mean that now the I don't want to call them young girls, but the younger ladies are not looking at saying you younger guys are not stepping up to the plate?
I don't really think so. I feel like a father being absent in your life does not really translate into you having daddy issues, because I mean, you are living in a generation where so many women are single mothers. They don't have fathers. But you see, these daughters are also turning out right. It's not like we have an epidemic where every woman in Kampala right now wants a sugar daddy. No. It's
talking about that class
yeah, and I'm also
and how they end up being there.
okay, yes, just that category. But I mean, it's not like I've done research on all the women who have daddy issues to know that this is where it came from. No, but what I know is, I mean, a father. First of all, when a girl is born or a daughter is born, and all that. My dad was not there when my sister was being born, but I mean, thankful as there. But this is what I observed. As a father, you're the first man, literally, in your daughter's life. What does this mean? You represent every other man in this world, yeah? So what you portray towards her is what she's going to portray as men, yeah? So you grow up, you're doing diapers, there's this kind of guy, this kind of father, you're involved in your daughter's life, you know, you go, you can change the diapers, your other daughters, they see you, our dad can change diapers, our dad can carry the baby. So what does it translate? Later on when they are married, it's not going to look like science when the husband is changing what? Diapers. You're not going to have this scenario of, no. You know, men are not supposed to do that. Hell no. My dad used to do that. Why the hell can she also change diapers? Yeah. And also we are living in a very, what should I say, volatile era, should I? Yeah. So as a father, you need to toughen up your daughters. Yeah. Why am I saying this? A mom is there, but there is also this thing of girls not really listening to their mothers. Yeah. So as a father, yeah, you have to bridge the gap, because this is the thing, she believes in you. Yeah. You're the dad. Yeah. She sees you as this, you know, knight and shining armor. If something very, very bad happens, the first thing she's going to think about is, oh my God, my dad gets to know, I'm dead. Yeah, because she looks at you as this person she's supposed to, you know, impress. This is how I'm supposed to live my life as long as my dad is. Yeah, and I watched something by Chris Rock. He has a daughter, and this is what he tells his daughter every day before she leaves the house. Yeah, he sits her down and he tells her, you know what? This world is a cruel world. This world is cruel. The moment you leave this house, no one cares about you. Even some people in this house don't really care about you, but so exactly. So as a father, you have to translate life for your daughter. You have to show her what is there. You have to show her what is men. Yeah.
Great stuff. But I'll tell you what. Now, Banji, what they have said is stuff we all know. Okay. We all know that's the way it is supposed to be. But the reality is, it is not. Is it permissible for a father to be two-faced? As in, you're that guy who your daughter knows, who is everything they're talking about. Then there's the real you, because we're different. So when I'm at home, as a father, I'm loving, I'm caring. Yes, I'm a stand-up guy and all that. But then out there, I'm a con man, I'm a rogue, I'm getting involved in bar fights and things like that. Is that then all right? Or should I just be who I am?
I think I have said on this show and in other places that if you must lie, then you must be sure. Actually, you must be 100% sure
That you won't get caught.
other than you and God, no one else will ever know the truth.
Which is not easy.
Which is not easy in this world. You look at this world in which we stay. You can be somewhere taking a beer and someone mistakenly takes their, a
selfie.
and you are in the background holding 3 bottles. So I think that a parent should, especially a daddy, should portray himself. There is no hiding. There is no room for saying when I'm in front of my daughter, I behave two-faced. No, you have to be one face. Be yourself. Be yourself, because remember this, your daughter will be with you the rest of your life. Okay? If you gave birth when you were a young man like Faizo at 22, and you are lucky you live up to 90, that means 78 years you are living with your daughter. So imagine, she will have plenty of time to discover who you are. So for me, my humble opinion would be that as a daddy, you need to show one side of yourself, the best side of you. Actually, you don't need to have a second side. Be true to yourself, be yourself, and do what you think is best in your relationship with your daughter. So being two-faced is really not on the menu here. But our colleagues here presented the role modeling of a father. Now, for me, I think the other position of a father in the daughter's life is to manage her expectations. And I think this is fundamentally important in the fact that at a time your daughter will move out of your life. Not move out of your life, she will transit to have another man in her life. Now, this man might be slightly different from you, okay? So you need to manage her expectations so that she's ready and she's able to, to face the world on her own. I think it's really important.
And then what is the role of a mother? We'll be right back after the break. We are here at the Naguru Skies
Well,
Hotel,
he's not a mother.
talking about the influence
Fair
of
enough.
a father
In
on
his
his daughter's
defense.
life. Are you a father? Do you think you're influencing your daughter right? Well, you're the only one who can answer that question. So we'll be right back after the break. Welcome back from the break. In case you've just joined us, we're here at the Naguru Skies Hotel. The good news is Chris is not here with us. So, yeah, we
Why
can
is
say
that
what
such
we
a
want to say because he's the one who keeps us in check. Now today we can say what we want to say, we can do what we want to do because Chris is not here. He's on leave and we're going to enjoy it. Now, we're talking about the role that fathers play in their daughters' lives. Now, you see, the question which I'm grappling with is, now, Okay, we are talking about the positive influence a father has, the positive influence that he directly translates to his daughter to prepare her. Does it mean that the only thing a father can prepare his daughter for is for the problems in life and for another man?
No. I mean, you're going to teach your daughter how to ride a bike.
Why can't
Literally.
Why can't her mother do that?
Because most mothers don't know how to ride bikes.
No, because
Thank you. She has told you. You'd rather leave it to the who?
Just like getting on a table and getting
Fixing the bulb. Exactly. Yeah.
There's some things we're comfortable.
Plumbing.
Yes, but now you see the thing is, can a man teach a woman how to be a woman?
Can a man teach a woman
How to be a woman.
Yes. Yes, because can a man teach a woman how to be a woman? Absolutely. Look, the way of life is that I may have a certain perception of myself, but then I need to know how my environment perceives me so that I can integrate the two personalities into one that can actually be received more positively. Which is why we are constantly always trying to improve ourselves. We care for people's opinions. We do not just seek them so we can go past them. We pick something. Every time you come across an individual who critiques you or who corrects you or says, I don't like the way you did this and that, you pick a certain lesson from that. So of course, men and women can both contribute tremendously to making the other exceptionally good at the expected roles in society.
But a man has never been a woman.
A man has never been a woman, but a man knows what he expects of his woman. So when we have that dialogue, then you give me room to adjust and improve on myself in terms of your expectations of me. And that's the beauty about life. It's all about compromises, you know? But if we think we are self-sufficient and self-reliant and perfect in the way that we were created and we leave no room for adjustment whatsoever, then we just end up conflicting.
Yeah,
I
I said
think
and I feel like, a woman is born a woman. Literally, a woman is born a woman because I'm looking at a situation whereby we have to talk about the reality. The reality is there's so many single parents, there's so many single fathers raising daughters, there's so many single mothers raising sons. Yeah, I mean, I'm an example. And I turned out, I'm not going to say a perfect gentleman, but I am roughly a man. Yeah. So,
but I think Faizo, in your life, somewhere, somehow, you have had men who have, either you have seen them or they have spoken to you, either they have been in your neighborhood, and you've said, yes, and you've said, well, these men, I think, have had an influence on your life. But I think there is one thing, as a father, I would really enjoy my daughter to see. I think my daughter should be able to see that I can also fail. It's very important that my daughter sees that sometimes I also fail, sometimes I also achieve. You know,
and life, you see how you rise from your failures.
Yes, and see how I rise from my failings, because life is not a smooth line.
But is that a sign of weakness?
No, it's not. Actually, failing and rising from failure to move on is a sign of strength.
Progress and
because
strength.
normally we will be tempted to say, well, I want my daughter to see the positive side of me, only the positive, you know. But how will they know that a man is also a human being? Because they will take men to be superheroes, you know, the commandos.
Men don't cry.
Men don't cry.
Boys don't cry. you know that cliche?
For me,
it's not a cliche.
For me, I think.
I come from that school of thought.
Men don't cry.
I mean, maybe Banji
But
cry.
men hurt.
Banji says it.
Men hurt.
Yes, men hurt. Yes. So
So when a man hurts and his tear drops, there's no crying.
How?
He's just hurting.
What is just dust?
guys, men cry, but well, we believe that the man doesn't cry in public. He cries in private. However, my argument, in my opinion, I think my daughter should also see that sometimes things are hard. Okay, things are hard, and because she should be able to learn from me how I manage these difficult times. Because the issue we have put forward is that the job of a father is to give some kind of a role model to the daughter, is to give pointers to the daughter. So if I can't fail in front of my daughter, then how will she know that in life these things happen? You understand? So I think sometimes we should be able to allow our daughters to see that in our being fathers, we also, you know, have these kinds of challenges.
But you know, one of there was some research which I read, and one of the challenges apparently that girls have with their with their spouses when they get married is actually the father influence, because the bar is set so high, and the feeling is always that, I mean, you're not like my dad. You're not like my dad. And you see, you talked about people who get children early. There are also those who get children late. So a girl who's born into a family when her parents are already set, she doesn't know where they've come from, then gets married and expects her husband, a young guy like Faisal, to be operating at that level, then that becomes a problem.
Actually, I even wanted to ask him a question. I wanted to ask you a question. This is just a question.
A daughter.
Would you tell your daughter to settle for less?
Thank you.
Exactly. So this is why your daughter is going to leave your home with very high expectations.
But you see, Faisal,
Faisal,
I think
a problem in that case.
No, I think Faisal and Igaga, you are missing something. I said you need to manage the expectations of your daughter.
I am being slow.
But you had what he said.
Too many men.
You hear what?
Too many men.
Just a minute. You need to manage the expectations of your daughter. Now, you might be a dad whose bar is here, okay? That literally, if your daughter is to look for a man like you, you are the only qualified candidate. Do you want to tell me that your dad will remain like that? So I think your daughter can go for less, but there is a bottom line, beyond which she cannot go. So, and that's what I call the expectations. I mean, for you own jet planes, so you expect your daughter to marry a man who has jet. How many are there in Uganda now?
The vision of the president. Because you're not going to tell me.
Yes, the one who has the vision but doesn't have the jet.
Going to, I mean,
I have an opinion. I just wanted to share clarity on why a father imprints himself so much on the daughter that she will set the bar at almost the same pedestal for her future husband, or even the husband. Then she will constantly probably want to compare and hope that he steps up to that level. But this is because a father in this case is the only permanent male figure in the life of a daughter. You see, as a girl grows up, she will have sometimes more than, some people are lucky, they just have one relationship and it transforms into a marriage, you know. She'll date. But oftentimes a girl will kiss so many frogs. She'll date this one, it will not work out, that one will be checked out. The next candidate and the next and the next. She'll probably have up to about 10 exes before she finds the so-called Mr. Right. And then the Mr. Right still has to step it up a certain notch for her to be able to appreciate him completely. The comparison comes in because the only man she has known all her life, who will forever be in her life, who will never abandon her, is the father. Which is why it is extremely important how you relate with your daughter. You can make her or break her. You can teach her all the positive values to appreciate, teach her the level of compromise, you know, to reach, teach her the things to reject, set the standards. It is how you as a father carry yourself that will determine how far she will go even in her marriage. If you're a quitter,
Yeah, that's what she's
Same
gonna
thing. I said, you know what? Even my father couldn't settle for this. I'm a woman. I'm supposed to compromise every day. Why not? She'll also quit and marry 10 times because guess what? Mr. Igaga has married 5, 6, 7 times. I'm just saying.
I'll tell you what. Are we then saying the traditional way, especially in traditional African society, of raising girls was wrong?
Was rough?
Was wrong.
Was wrong.
Because fathers had a very hands-off
Minimum
approach, yes, where their daughters were concerned. And they would not get involved. But how comes now with the new way of doing things, there are
But
so
how
many
far
issues?
back into traditional African society? How far back?
I'm talking about my generation.
Your generation?
Yes,
How
like
old
my
are you? I
dad
have
would
no
not
idea.
talk to my sisters about periods and stuff. My dad was just my dad. He was that guy in the house.
That's the thing with
Yeah.
evolution. Times have changed. This generation is forever changing.
But not-
And so we cannot stay accustomed to the things that worked then. We move with the times and adopt to things that work now.
But is it working?
Yes, it is.
But
If
also,
you-
but
if
also,
you
Igaga,
embrace
you also need to know that your dad was actually not. He
wasn't that laid
He
back.
wasn't laid back.
He was instructing
For
your
me-
mother
for me,
to step in
yes,
his
for
shoes.
me, what I used to see from
He
my
was
dad.
speaking to you through your mother and your aunties, and you understand. There were standards. If you go back and ask them right, I'm very sure.
And you see, I need really to support.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
because what I used to see my dad do was that there were things he would address directly to my sisters, and there were things which he felt, well, are a bit embarrassing, and he would call the old lady and say, you know what, your daughter is doing this and this. I am
don't
not
like
happy.
it."
Please talk to her. And when the old woman is talking to my sister, I will say, your dad, your father is not happy with this. Well, I am also not happy, but I had not seen it. But now your dad has pointed it out. So the man was there. He was using his spy glass. You know, he was using his CCTV cameras.
And I agree 100%.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
and that system was working, wasn't it? Then why don't we just stick to that?
Because back then, women were sitting at home and raising children.
But
Peter,
where he became
back then, do you know what was happening? Your mother's role was strictly to bear children, raise them, nurture them, see to that. You understand?
Yeah.
Today's society, our roles are shared. The woman is also a breadwinner, just like the man is. So why leave everything to the woman?
Oh my God.
Which is why you take this portion, I keep this much. If we are to compare your roles, besides the roles of a woman in raising a child, it is just this bit. Believe me, you.
But one
Yeah?
thing is, I agree that's what's happening, but we are seeing the road. When I was growing up, there were no slave queens.
But you people
No.
live for this.
They were there. They just used to be at the market. You never used to. They used to go to the market, to the well. You don't remember? His generation didn't even have markets.
They weren't there, but now we're seeing this whole race, and again, it's being blamed on upbringing. So I'm saying, are we doing it wrong?
I feel like sometimes.
Now we're here at the Negroes Guys Hotel talking about the influence of a father on their daughter. As a father, are you a positive influence on your daughter, or is your daughter missing the point? Like clearly, I think some people have. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after the break. Welcome back from the break. In case you've just joined us, we are in the third and final segment talking about the influence of fathers on their daughters. Now, during the break I told you, my daughter is 20. She's a grown lady. We have very difficult conversations. She has even woken me up at 3 in the morning to tell me about her boyfriend issues. Okay.
Are you sure
But-
you're safe talking about this on set?
Yeah, I don't know. She doesn't watch the show, so it's fine. Because she's too young.
Yeah.
to watch the show.
20 years.
Yeah, she's too young.
I'm in the age range.
The real father there, protecting his
But-
daughter of 20 years of age.
Yeah, but you see, the thing is, I agree. Fathers do have a strong influence on their daughters. But what I'm asking is, where has it gone wrong? Because I mentioned slave queens. According to Faisal, they were always there at the market. And at the well, hanging there.
And now they just have phones.
Now they have phones. So
It has always been there.
But you see, recently, not too long ago, there have been a number of cases in Kenya where you find somebody is 23, okay? They're even ready to buy their father a Land Cruiser V8, okay? And the father's not even asking, where is that coming from?
But we know where that money is coming from. The trade in Nairobi, Kenya is...
But according to some of the, unfortunately, some of these girls have ended up dead, okay, with all the in-betweens, yes, you know. And the father says, oh, I did not know because I thought God had just answered my prayers, you know. Now, you see, if we go back to where we originally were, okay, you were talked about doing things that your father, you can't even tell your father. There would be no way you'd be able to come and tell your dad, hey, you know what, I've got, even if you are doing it, that I've got a car. You can't, okay. But nowadays, it's becoming more and more acceptable because the rules and regulations are being
watered down.
Watered down, yes. And so I'm wondering, don't we need to go back to where we originally were? Because I think also ladies were stronger than they are right now. And they could
What
take
do you
more.
mean?
But they, I mean, might have been pain, through pain.
Through pain.
Yeah. Let me tell you something. There are just some children, you can only do so little or so much. You will do everything you have to do, be the perfect parent, and they'll still turn out like monsters. Because in the end, exactly, because in the end, raising a daughter is not only up to the parents, even the child themselves. I mean, get this, the moment your child starts going to school, they're spending more time with their friends than you, ever. That is just how it's going to be. So literally your impact is going to be minimal. She goes to class, spends the entire day with all these girls, you know, as slave queens, comes back to you, and you know, she all dresses up in a gomesi because at home we are Catholic, we are supposed to, you know, cover up. Because we've seen these girls. She goes in a gomesi, changes from the friend's place, short dress. Going back home, it's a different thing. So I mean, the parents can only do so little.
Yeah, right.
The influence, yes, you have to influence, you have to be there, you have to support, you have to be positive, you have to teach them about all these other kinds of stuff. But then again, for someone to grow up, there's so many factors involved. It's not just about parents. I mean, orphans grow up and they turn out to be very, you know, well off. No mom, no dad, just strangers.
Yeah.
But they make it.
Yeah, but I think also they are. We may sit here and we think that all fathers are good. There are fathers out there who are doing terrible things in their daughters' lives, either intentionally, I mean either knowingly or unknowingly, you know. Because just imagine my daughter comes home driving a Range Rover Sport, and I know that last time she got a job for 1 million shillings per month, and she's just been working for 3 months. A Range Rover Sport is about 350 million. So as a concerned father, I think I should do the mathematics and say, but do these things match?
Question.
Okay.
Where the
And
car is
I
coming
should
from.
maybe try to inquire into this. And we know that there are also daddies out there who sit and keep calling the daughter. Mwana wange, rent, airtime, money for medicine,
Medical.
tuition for
Food.
your siblings. So what do you expect your daughter to do? You are putting pressure on your daughter. You are expecting so much, but the capacity of your daughter to deliver is this little. So what does your daughter do? She improvises. Where she gets the money, we don't know. So yes, fathers can also be...
Oh, we know, but we don't want to admit we know. You know, the parents who know
Yes.
that this child is actually going about this and that, but
Yeah,
I
so-
will stay out of it because guess what?
So, but we need to also agree as this young generation has said, you know, me and you come from
No. When you speak of the young generation, I think Pfizer is
markets. Actually, there were markets, but no supermarkets. Is that as a parent, you can't do everything for your daughter. Okay? Yes, you will be in the life of your daughter, but you can simply, in most cases, you prepare them for the world. And once you prepare them, you let them go.
Yeah.
Okay? You let them go, and you know, now these days with some of these movements, she may even never come back to you to ask and consult, and you don't even have the capacity to go and say, well, my daughter, I had ABCD. She will remind you, I'm the one who bought this suit you are putting on. What are you doing in my house? So you see, things have become very difficult.
No, but Banji, you know, you've talked about something. I want to hinge on to what you talked about. Some parents, and rather some fathers, unintentionally or intentionally doing wrong things in their daughters' lives. I mean, just recently, there's a pretty known father in Kampala who's battling with his daughter, and a lot of people are saying that he grew that monster. Okay, and now he's the same one who is trying to clip its wings. So where does a father draw the line between trying to set your daughter off to go out there and be the best she can be, and also just keep her balanced?
Yeah, you celebrated that Chris is not here, but I think Chris was needed. Because Chris is going to talk about values.
Yes.
Okay? Chris is going to talk about values, and I am borrowing from his dictionary, and I am also talking about values. I have always been an advocate of the African way of doing things. No. The African way of doing things. Where values...
This man is violent.
No. The African way of doing things, where values, okay? Values, family values have been very strong. So you have to raise your daughter with values. The beauty of values help your daughter to set boundaries, to know what is right and what is wrong. So even when she's not with you, you know, me and you, when we grew up, even if you broke something when your dad was not there, you knew he has known. So when he comes, you begin telling Daddy, I am the one who broke the glass. Okay? Because either way he will find out whether you keep quiet or not. So it's because of the values, you understand? Because he would bring the whole family and say, now, I will cane all of you. Who broke the glass? They will start pointing at you. So the value will make you to say, I am the one who did it. So I think we have to have values. Now, of course, the question is, does the dad also have values? Because this becomes an important question. What are the values of the dad? Because you must have values before you give them to your daughter. So I think that's where the question is.
Now, Momo, we've reached that point when we do have to wrap up the show. So your parting shot, what do you think, he's talked about values. What values do you think a father can inculcate into his daughter?
Wow. Values.
Yeah.
It's something new. I'm going to have to jump on in this show.
In other words, what values did you get from Papa? Let me just simplify it.
I'd rather be broad.
I'll be very precise. We have tackled almost all the angles of how a father sets themselves up as a positive role model and how they can go from being that to that total opposite, that everything they imprint on their child is negative and therefore grooms them to be the monster or, you know, the negative kind of daughter. The value in this case I think is very important for a father to emulate is to own up to his faults or his mistakes. Every time we go astray and find someone to blame for our own mistakes, we do not correct ourselves. We shy away or hide behind that excuse or that other person on whom it is easy to apportion the blame. So we do not change ourselves whatsoever because we have now picked up on something else to make look bad. So in the same way, if a father does wrong, but finds a certain curtain to hide behind. And all his daughter sees him for is the false good father that he is, when in actual sense he has all these evils that he has stashed away in a safe place. When the child finds that, as they grow up, they also now find a hiding place. Okay, so you will abuse a child today, should maybe go and report to the police. Now I'm talking about sexual abuse for those funny parents who do that. God forbid we have even many of them in this country. Yeah, they commit the offense. The child will not report because first of all it comes with shame. So she finds a way to deny that it's actually happening, and then it goes on and on and on. And this child is broken, lost. No one can help them because they would rather hide the shameful act than own up to it and actually get the help that they deserve. So for me, I think it's very important for us to be true to ourselves, parents, children, but most especially fathers, because today we are talking about you, your role in the life of your daughters. It is okay to fail, just like my colleague said here. What only matters is how you rise from that failure and what lessons you learn from the fall. And if you can share that openly with your daughter, you empower them. You make them wiser, stronger, and very confident. And so they know how to go about life and win. That's all I have to say.
Faisal, your parting shot. One minute.
Not Musisi. Anyway, my parting shot is a lot of the times, you know, we are raised by our parents with this whole imaginary thing of, you know, me when I was in school, I passed all the classes. I was always number one. I was always, you know. Yeah? So I feel like as a father, you should literally teach your kids about failure. Yeah, because this is what happens. You're going to teach your child about success. So in this one opportune time where there is failure and they fail, they don't have money, or they've failed class or something, you know, they don't know how to cope up with it. They're going to go steal money, or they're going to go forge marks or something, because at home no one is known for failure, my friend. My dad has never failed anything, literally. Yeah, so I feel like this age of fathers, as we are being more present in, you know, kids' lives, daughters' lives, teach these children about failure. Yeah, as much as you teach them about success. Yeah, teach them about how to be human. Yeah, so that you don't have this scenario of you grow up and you want to be like your father, but your father is so perfect. Yeah, your father is so perfect, you just end up being depressed. You're like, you know what, I don't even know whether you're my dad. So what happens is now the kids hate the parents. Why? Because my mom always knows everything. My dad knows everything. They never apologize. They don't know anything like that. What happens? You also grow up with that whole mentality of, why should I apologize? Yeah, for what? What have I done? Yeah. This is why we have a generation of people who love to blame what's happening to their life, like what's happening in their life, on other people. Something happens, they just blame someone else. Because while growing up, when something happens, and it's, let's say it's the dad's fault, he's not going to realize. It's just going to be like, it's because of this, it's because you did this, it's because you're always on your phone, you know, things like that. So yeah.
All right, great stuff. Banji, your parting shot.
I think because a daughter really is ends up being the mother of the nation. So me, I think as my role as a daddy is to raise the best daughter I can present to the world. What I think is the best to my abilities. If the world thinks my abilities are not the best, then well, me, I did my best. I did all that I could. So it becomes very, very important. But we also need to know that our daughters are independent persons. Okay, a time will reach where they will become independent, where they may decide to continue consulting us, but they may be on their own. So we just need to give them the tools. And for me, I simply say, teach them values, and these values will act as the guiding light in their life. And that is it. Yeah.
So, ladies and gentlemen, you've heard it from us, from the men. Yeah.
And the woman.
Mine is just one very simple thing. As a father, you're meant to be a protector. Protect your daughters. And sons can figure it out. They're tough guys. But protect your daughters. It's very sad, as you mentioned it. Currently, there's a high rise in issues where fathers are the violators rather than the protectors of their children. And if your children cannot run to you, especially your daughters, then who can they run to? With that, all I can say is have a good night from us here at the Naguru Skies Hotel, and God bless.